It's Monday, June 19th, and this is now on HNN.
Whoever did this to my daughter, come on, man up.
The family of a 17-year-old girl who was shot in the head over the weekend is begging for the gunmen to turn themselves in.
An overnight burglary at the Mary Monarch office will show you what valuable items were stolen. Repairs following 2 water main breaks could impact drivers this week.
This holiday is about celebrating freedom from slavery.
These stories, plus on this Juneteenth holiday, cities across the country are commemorating the end of slavery. Details coming up on This Is Now.
Aloha and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on This Is Now. We begin with some breaking news just into our newsroom. The Mary Monarch office in Hilo, Hawaii has been burglarized. Now, Mary Monarch organizers say it happened sometime last night. They say the thieves stole iPads, laptops, merchandise, as well as some of their most prized medals. That was it right there. We've reached out to the Kawelu Ohana and learned that police were at the office about an hour ago and they might still actually be there. We are still gathering more information. If you have any information on all of this, you're asked to call Hawaii Island Police. Of course, this office is located just outside of the Edith Kanako Ole Stadium there in Hilo, where this beloved celebration happens every single year. Once again, we're working to gather more details and we'll bring them to you on air and online.
Now to other top stories. It was a violent weekend across the country. Holiday celebrations in several cities have been torn apart by gunfire. At least 12 people were killed since Friday. Elise Preston has more.
At a Juneteenth celebration in Willowbrook, Illinois, 1 dead, 22 injured. At a party in St. Louis, Missouri, 1 dead, 9 injured, all teenagers.
All those attending will carry with them the scars, physical and mental, from the gun violence that tore into their lives.
A music festival in Washington, a nightclub in Georgia, a house party in California. More than a dozen mass shootings, nearly 100 people injured. And that was just this weekend.
Let me be clear. We will not tolerate such acts of violence in our community.
So far this year, more than 800 children and teenagers have been killed by guns, which includes homicides and suicides. And it's part of a startling trend. Looking at CDC data, a new report this month by the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions found 2021 set a record for the most deaths ever. Nearly 49,000.
What is your reaction to seeing this continuously play out?
Unfortunately, we see mass shootings every day in America, so it's not surprising.
Josh Horowitz is the center's co-director and says states and the federal government need to redouble their efforts to stop gun violence.
We also think limiting access to firearms in public is important, and of course, investing in community violence intervention programs will pay dividends and save lives.
Elise Preston, CBS News.
Over the weekend, West Oahu saw its own case of gun violence. The shooting in Ma'ili left a 17-year-old girl badly injured, and now police are still searching for the person who pulled the trigger. Our Eddie Dowd spoke with the family, who's calling on the shooting suspect to turn themselves in.
Police say the 17-year-old was walking down the street with a group of people here in Ma'ili just after 11 p.m. Saturday when another group pulled up in an SUV and started firing at her group, where she was struck and sent to the hospital in critical condition.
They shot her in her head in Miley by Miley Elementary.
The teenager's mother, being physically held up by family, identified the victim as 17-year-old Richiana de Guzman.
She was good girl. She go to Farrington High School. She had a job interview. How's that one coming up on Monday for start work? This girl not on the streets.
De Guzman's family says she was walking with her boyfriend the night of the shooting.
She not into trouble. She always stay home. And just this one time, she took this walk and she took this bullet from who knows who.
One witness who lives in the area didn't want to show her face, but says the shots rang through the neighborhood.
It was like bam, 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 several times, pretty loud.
This shooting comes after several recent gun violence incidents in the area involving minors. In April, 2 people were shot and killed at a chicken fight in Ma'ili. One of the suspects is a 16-year-old. In May, a shooting in Makaha left a 17-year-old teenager dead, also involving a 16-year-old suspect. The string of violence involving young people prompted this town hall with HPD. The father of the teen killed in Makaha saying enough is enough.
We see this every day. And my son was an angel, but nobody need to pick up their son dead on the ground.
Now this mother adding her voice to the cause for change.
I stay kind of broken right now, so I don't know really what for say. I stay lost. I stay confused. I'm angry, sad, mad. My daughter is fighting for her life. She probably gonna die, guys. Whoever did this to my daughter, come on, man up, turn yourself in, do the best thing. We gotta take the guns off the streets and we gotta stop killing each other. This is terrible. People's dying out there.
And the family is asking anyone with information on this case to come forward and contact HPD. Reporting in Maili, Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Well, a Kunia business owner is left upset after a smash and grab at their shop over the weekend. Video released by the store's owner shows suspects smashing their way through the front door. Glass shattered as a pickup truck backed its way into the S7 Icy Bubble shop at the Kunia Shopping Center. This was just after 4:30 yesterday morning. It took less than 3 minutes for at least 2 suspects to find the register. The owner says they got away with just over $1,000. However, he's more concerned about the damage. He estimates repairs will cost about 70 grand.
I'm upset because of they broken our doors. They stopping for my sales every day. I have to close it and repair it. But even like that, we still need to pay rent, and we still need to pay for the hourly pay for the employees. This is why I'm upset.
We reached out to police for more information. So far, no word on any arrests or suspects or vehicle descriptions. We'll bring you any updates on air and online at hawaiinewsnow.com.
HPD has arrested a man accused of threatening multiple people with a samurai sword in Chinatown. 25-year-old Sean Williams was taken into custody last night just before 5:30. Police say he used the sword to threaten a security guard and another man. Private security officers were able to detain Williams until HPD arrived to take him into custody. He faces 4 counts, including terroristic threatening charges.
Meanwhile, a 35-year-old man faces first-degree attempted murder charges after allegedly using his car as a weapon in Wahiawa. Police say Blaze Lowe intentionally rammed his car into a parked vehicle at a high rate of speed at around 8:30 yesterday morning. 2 people were inside the victim's vehicle at the time, including a 31-year-old woman who had been arguing with Lowe just before the crash. Lowe then allegedly exited his vehicle with what's being called as a dangerous instrument and used it to strike the car and one of the victims. He was arrested shortly after on Lehua Street.
2 major water main breaks could cause problems for drivers in town over the next few days. The first happened Saturday at Kapahulu and Harding Avenues in Kaimuki. Another happened early this morning at Dillingham and Mokawea in Kalihi. Casey Lund has the update on the work being done to repair both.
Yeah, we're here at Dillingham and Mokuea, and we want to show you the water main break that started early this morning, really in the overnight hours. You can see where it kind of ruptured the street there, pushed some of that asphalt up, and you can see some of the debris. Earlier this morning, it was really causing a lot of flooding and ponding in this area, but they've been able to turn the water off since then, and you can see the Board of Water Supply crews. We also know that Mokuea Street is closed just 1 block up from Dillingham here, but you can still go down Mackay direction. And Dillingham, in fact, was closed earlier this morning, but they opened it back up. And luckily, traffic has been lighter, though. We'll see how things shape up for tomorrow morning's commute, because as you can see from this video that we gathered early this morning, it was a real mess, and eventually the Board of Water Supply is going to have to dig up that water main so they can access it and do the work. So that could cause some problems tomorrow when we see heavier traffic. Let's go over to the east, though, and talk about Kapahulu and Harding Avenue. That is where a 24-inch water main broke on Saturday. That actually caused some problems for folks driving down a river, but you can see this video that we got from just this morning. We saw that massive hole that they had opened up. to get down and access that main and start the work on that. There were Board of Water Supply crews there early this morning, and you can expect that to last for a while. Meanwhile, the Board of Water Supply is actually asking folks to conserve water in Manoa, St. Louis Heights, Kaimuki, Pololo, Wilhelmina Rise, and Kapahulu. We also know that some people have had really low water pressure, and some people may be out of water completely. If you are, you need to report that to the Board of Water Supply. They also have a water wagon set up at 1123 Kapahulu Avenue. They ask that you bring a bucket if you need to take advantage of that, but again, you can expect that work to last for quite a while. We'll keep you updated on that and this situation again as they begin that work. It may cause some problems for your morning commute tomorrow. We already have kind of a mess here on Dillingham. We'll keep all that information updated online at hawaiinewsnow.com. For now, we'll send things back to you.
Well, today is America's newest federal holiday. Of course, it is Juneteenth, which commemorates the end of slavery. Now, cities all across the country are marking the holiday with parades and concerts, and this is the third year of celebrations since President Joe Biden gave this holiday federal status in 2021. Jen Sullivan has more.
Cities across the country celebrating Juneteenth, a federal holiday marking the end of slavery. One of the nation's largest parades held in Philadelphia. Marches bringing people together in Denver.
It makes you see that it's not just you're not alone.
And in Washington, D.C., festivals lined the streets.
This holiday is about celebrating freedom from slavery. As hard as that is to even say, that's the reality.
While cities are filled with colorful celebrations this holiday, the road to end slavery was a much darker time in American history. In 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, ending slavery in the U.S. But news of liberation slowly spread across the South. It took more than 2 years for the news to reach the final enslaved group in Galveston, Texas. That day was June 19, 1865, 158 years ago.
The country, the nation, the government had people in bondage. It was ugly. But now is a time that we can show the world that America doesn't stay in bondage, that it actually comes forth.
Monday, the city of Galveston marking the birthplace of what is now Juneteenth, a day of liberation now celebrated across the country.
To celebrate one of our nation's founding principles, the principle of freedom.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
President Biden is in California today to announce new federal funding for climate resilience projects. This comes after 50 million people in the Southeast are under the threat of severe storms, while 35 million people in the South are under heat advisories. Mike Valerio has more.
Well, here in California on the agenda today is the climate and also the campaign, with President Biden beginning to hammer home key campaign messages as to what he is doing to tackle the climate crisis.
Oh my God.
As parts of the country grapple with another round of severe storms.
And all of a sudden the tornado formed and it just dropped on us.
And life-threatening heat.
Definitely staying hydrated because it's like really hot.
President Joe Biden heads to California to announce his administration's latest efforts to deal with the climate crisis. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is launching a $575 million project aimed at helping coastal and Great Lakes communities become more resilient to extreme weather, protecting them from storm surge, flooding, and rising sea levels. The move comes at a critical time for homeowners in those areas. Extreme weather is one factor driving up insurance rates, and two major insurance companies recently stopped accepting new applications altogether in California.
Unfortunately, the law is the insurance companies have the right, as long as they give you 75 days notice, when your policy comes up for renewal, they can tell you, we're not going to issue you a new policy.
And the president will be here in the West, out in California through Wednesday. That's the latest here in Los Angeles. I'm Mike Valerio. Back to you.
Meanwhile, climate change is making homeowners insurance more expensive and in many places more difficult to find. In Florida, some major insurance companies have already pulled out of the state, leaving homeowners paying premiums nearly 4 times higher than those paid elsewhere in the country. Hurricane risk is a part of Florida's problem. Hurricane Ian last year was the most expensive storm ever to hit the Sunshine State. Two of the nation's largest insurers, State Farm and Allstate, are no longer writing new homeowner policies in California, partly because of the increased risk posed to homes by wildfires. An urgent search and rescue operation is underway for a missing tourist submersible. The U.S. Coast Guard launched the search after the submersible disappeared on Sunday while exploring the wreckage of the Titanic about 900 nautical miles east of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. This is file video of a submersible called the Titan, owned by OceanGate Expeditions, a private company that charters tours with its research teams to explore the shipwreck. It's unclear if this is the same model that's currently missing. OceanGate says it is working with numerous government agencies and deep-sea companies to aid in the rescue of its crew.
Now, it's reported that 5 people are on board the missing vessel, but it's not clear how many are tourists versus crew members. In a statement, OceanGate says in part, "We are exploring and mobilizing all options to bring the crew back safely. Our entire focus is on the crew members in the submersible and their families." According to the company, OceanGate's expeditions include a 10-day trip with 18 dives off a larger boat to a maximum depth of 12,800 feet. Scientific research and observation is also conducted on the trips. The New York Times reported last year that individuals may pay as much as $250,000 to join the exploration. A federal judge has ordered former President Trump and his co-defendant Walt Nauta to keep quiet about evidence given to the defense in the classified documents case. Trump pleaded not guilty last week to 37 counts. Prosecutors say he mishandled top secret documents after he left office and obstructed the investigation into the documents. Special counsel Jack Smith asked the judge to prevent Trump and Nauta from disclosing material presented in the discovery phase of the trial. The defendants did not oppose Smith's request. The judge specifically prohibited sharing discovery materials with the public, the media, or online without approval of the court.
An important convention is bringing Native Hawaiians together in Las Vegas. Our Chelsea Davis is there on assignment, and she filed this report.
Aloha Awinala from the 9th Island, where the inaugural Western Regional Native Hawaiian Convention is officially underway. This year's convention is particularly important because it's the first time ever it's being held outside of Hawaii. The reason for this is because there are now more Native Hawaiians living in the continental U.S. than there are living in Hawaii. So the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement thought it was a perfect opportunity and only fitting to take the convention, which is the largest gathering of Native Hawaiians, to the continent because they understand and they realize the importance to remain connected and remain rooted in culture. They say this is the perfect opportunity to reconnect with ohana who have left the islands to share stories, whether it's successes or struggles, and to chart a course forward toward common goals for community. Day one includes hula, mele, oli, genealogy, as well as Olelo Hawaii workshops and so much more. There are more than 1,200 people registered for this convention this year. That's the latest from Las Vegas, Nevada. Chelsea Davis, Hawaii News Now.
A Hawaiian monk seal was kept out of harm's way on Kauai. This video sent to our newsroom shows monk seal RS-30, who was found playing with a resistance band. When it was safe to do so, beachgoers removed the band from the water so the seal was not at risk of chewing or swallowing it. Now, this is a good reminder to always clean up after yourself at Hawaii's beaches. Let's go ahead and give you a live look now. This is, of course, a gorgeous camera of Halema'uma'u crater. Very, very active scene there. That lava is still spewing. Now, of course, this is one of the main vents that the activity has kind of been focused to. Scientists have been monitoring the conditions there, and this appears to be the most active remaining vent there. Just absolutely beautiful. Ash, have you seen the lava in person yet?
I have not.
Me neither.
I know. I'm really jealous of everyone who gets to go.
I think we got to take This Is Now on the road. What do you think? Let's go ahead and give you a look now at your island weather with Guy Hagi.
By all means, get outside today. Granted, it might be a little damp for some neighborhoods this morning and today for some windward neighborhoods mainly. But then by tonight, things should start to ease up and dry up, although with the light winds for the next couple of days, there's a good chance for some spotty showers. Now, notice after that, we'll see passing showers come into those windward areas, but most of the rain will be of the light to moderate variety. We're not expecting a washout anytime soon. So again, a fair bit of sunshine today, but with more windward and Mauka showers for this Juneteenth holiday. Fewer showers by tomorrow. But with those winds running light tomorrow and Wednesday, we'll get some afternoon clouds and some spotty afternoon showers. Oh, and don't forget, Wednesday. That's the start of summer. That's the official start of summer. And then right after that, the winds pick up speed, 15 to 25. That's going to be pretty windy, especially windy over the weekend. And we're not going to see a whole lot of shower activity, but there will be those passing showers from time to time. And also notice the temperatures in summertime, man. Temperatures are going to be knocking on 90 degrees for the next several days.
Yuck.
Ooh, Ashley, I am not a fan of this hot weather. I am so sorry.
No, it's been feeling like summer for a while now.
It really has. It really has. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some news from the feeds. As Pride Month continues, people in San Francisco came to Calvary Presbyterian Church for a drag queen Bible story hour.
Yeah, organizers were hoping to provide a different perspective after some of the pushback that has occurred around the country about drag performances. Christy Smith has more.
We're holding a drag queen Bible story hour.
Reverend Victor Floyd says it's a first for Calvary Presbyterian Church. They've held a pre-Pride prayer service before, but this is something new.
We're hoping to offer a little balance to all of the hateful rhetoric that's out in the country, and especially coming from churches and from politicians who are using churches and using trans people and drag queens as their props.
Supporters came early and sat.
My name is Joanne Fabrics. Also, I'm Pastor Sam Lundquist at St. John's Presbyterian Church.
And they listened to the message.
And he led his flock into the wilderness.
And there was song.
I think that Pride Month especially is extremely important these days because so many of us come up in shame, and that's why we need pride.
Reverend Floyd says not everyone supported the church hosting the event.
Because of the recent protest in Petaluma and in Loomis Basin up near Roseville and other places, and because of some of the irate emails we've gotten, we've, I think, responded with a lot of security considerations, and we don't expect anything to go wrong.
Recently, a drag event in the South Bay also drew some pushback online. Lawmakers in states across the country have introduced bills to restrict LGBTQ rights. Earlier this month, a federal judge in Tennessee struck down the state's law aimed at restricting drag performances, ruling it unconstitutional.
I hope people take joy away, and the kind of joy, we always say, the kind of joy the world can't give.
That we are creative beings. It's just in our core. And to tell someone that they can't be what their imagination tells them they can, that's a violation of what's sacred about us.
Well, that's definitely quite a new approach there. Let's go ahead and look to some good news now. We're going to start with the self-titled demo tape from the late musician Prince.
Ooh.
Take a look at this right here.
Wow, look at him.
There it is. Yes. It's going up for auction. Now, the demo was recorded in 1976. It contains unreleased versions of the songs Just As Long As We're Together and My Love Is Forever, as well as the never-released Jelly Jam. Now, Prince was just 18 years old when he recorded the tracks, all written, sung, and arranged by him. The demo is part of the Marvels of Modern Music auction that ends on Thursday.
Amazing. That's going to go for a lot of money.
Yes, it sure will.
One more?
Yep, one more.
All right. Archaeologists have found a gleaming 3,000-year-old sword at a burial site in southern Germany. And so the well-preserved sword was discovered last week in the state of Bavaria, and researchers believe it was left in the grave as a burial gift. Now, it is thought to date back to the end of the 14th century BCE. That's the Middle Bronze Age. The sword was left in a grave containing 3 sets of remains, a man, a woman, and a young person, who researchers say were buried shortly after one another. The relationship's unclear, though, of the people.
Beautiful. Yeah. Let's end today with going back to that live camera we just showed you.
What?
It is raining now. So, of course, all the steam there has a washout. You can't really see much, but we thank you for tuning in to This Is Now right here on Hawaii News Now.